501c3 public charity, and our charter is to inspire children and young adults to become electrical engineers. And that's one thing. The second thing is that we are a history museum and dedicated to the telephone and the fact that the telephone was invented here in Boston. It's what we do. When I was a little kid, I loved taking everything apart. I started with the telephone, a real huge curiosity on how things worked. Started with the phone, moved to tape recorders, televisions, anything electronic. So, by the time I got out of high school, digital computers were the thing, so I transitioned into that. So now that I'm almost retired, I felt the need to help children and young adults have the same kind of inspiration I had taking stuff apart. Today's phones, if you take it apart, you really can't see anything. They're just like, they're chips, right? They're little blocks of nothing. In the original phones, the components are huge. So, I had the idea where, I could take 100-year-old telephone parts, show them Ohm's law, which is I diagram here, and basically, here's your fraction. Voltage over resistance is the current, is your voice in electric theory. So as they speak into the denominator, they're changing the electric current dynamically. And so that, I'm hoping, would make them enthusiastic about making the connection between voice and electric current. So these are 100-year-old devices. We make our devices now on silicon wafers. This is a semiconductor wafer. Each one of those squares is a cell phone, or it could be a CPU. This is an Intel CPU. And if you measure the current between any of those two pins, Ohm's law is still in effect. That's why the first phones and today's phones work on the same principle. So that's kind of a long-winded explanation to why I'm doing this. You don't get it today with just playing with a telephone. You don't get all that stuff. So, I try to recreate my experience.
It's not physically as big, for sure.
So you need specialized equipment to look in there to see what's going on, okay? And of course, they're not really going to want to do that. The kids want to play with the phone, text, swipe their fingers across, right? So in my museum, I have a big workshop where the kids can, anybody can just sit down and take phones apart, old phones, and see the components. We're in Waltham on Moody Street. The building that used to be the Jordan's Furniture Building, it's now the Lincoln Art Studio.
Yeah.
So we're there on the first floor.